Testament and see that it's written in the 2nd century as opposed to the 1st. The New Testament tries to say that Paul wrote in the 1st, so that he's out. Jesus doesn't write anything, so it's not as directly problematic. But we do see a better timeline of how he evolves over time. But there's elements to the Jesus story that
didn't the letters of Paul come out? Weren't the letters of Paul first before the Gospels? So that would make it, put into the first century.
Not in reality. I mean, according to church tradition, sure. But we don't have any evidence that they were in the middle of the 1st century.
I think the closest historians that I have seen have put it into about 25 years after.
Yeah. And what evidence do they use? What evidence do they use for that?
From my understanding, they have the tradition of the Gospels themselves. Mm-hmm. Not only that, there's a couple there's the succession of apostles, right? In which
again, more church tradition.
Well, you have to understand that the word apostle is a church tradition. They weren't called apostles before. They were just elders repeating a story that they have lived. We do know that, right?
No. In fact, apostolos technically also mean like ship commander.
Yeah, like shepherd, pastor, bishop, overseer.
I don't think
these were just
ship commander or naval commander is like a shepherd.
No, what we mean is some type of authority watching over people. Could we agree on that?
No.
Okay, so why do you think people wrote the Gospels then?
As a mythology?
So let's say before they had Judaism, right? They were from Judea. Then from Judea, they just created a character.
Wait, what? Who? Who was in Judea?
Well, there were Jews, right?
Who? Are you saying there Jewish people, like just in general, Jewish people?
There were Jewish people. There were Jewish people in that time who had a tradition, and then a certain amount of Jews decided to change their trajectory religiously. And we're saying that
Christianity is not an offshoot from Judaism. Not exactly.
Why do you say that?
There's no evidence to suggest that Christianity came from Judaism.
That's interesting.
Christianity existed prior to its connection with Judaism. Judaism just gets mixed in post-Bar Kokhba revolt, in the middle of the.
And why do you say that?
Because that's when we have elements of the story, like the Gospels and whatnot, that talk about the Bar Kokhba revolt, and it talks about the abomination of desolation. It talks about fleeing Judea and everything like that. It's talking about 136. I mean this.
Okay, so
there's elements in the Gospel of John that don't even show up on the planet until 130s.
No, I agree with you that the Gospels were written in different periods. There's no. They weren't all created at one specific time, 10 years after he died. Everything was done pretty much in a 150-year period. I can agree on you on that, but I kind of don't see your point yet, which maybe because we could talk another time, is that you're saying none of these characters existed.
Correct.
So then if none of these characters existed, right, why do you think that, so do you think that they were all hallucinating?
No. Why do you need to hallucinate to make a mythology?
So who do you think created the mythology?
Marcion.
And who's Marcion? If I'm asking, I'm definitely
theologian in 144.
144. Mm-hmm. So the people that were there, let's say Clement of Rome, we just feel that he was not real.
No, he may have been real, but he's there in the middle of the 2nd century. The Muratorian canon gives us this clue.
Fine. So let's say the other countries, let's say the other churches that were in, if you give me a second, let me check. Let me see. So we have churches. So let's say. So you're saying that the churches in Rome, Constantinople, Alexandria, Antioch, and Jerusalem. Let's say that everything started from Jerusalem.
Why would everything start from
hierarchies.
Jerusalem?
Well, their gospel history says that it came out of Jerusalem.
No, it
Or do
doesn't.
you feel that it didn't come from
The
Jerusalem?
gospel history? What are you talking about?
No.
No.
Are you talking
So what
about
do you
just
guys
like
think?
the story happens in Jerusalem? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the story.
Oh,
Let me.
okay,
What's the name
but
of the
we
guy
don't have
you
any
mentioned?
evidence.
What's
We
his
have
name?
okay. Listen, what you keep doing is you keep looking to the text, but the text post-date mentions of Christians, but Christians are not mentioned in Jerusalem prior to the text showing up. You keep looking to the text as the saving grace for the explanation as to where they come from, but history just says otherwise. We see Christians in Asia Minor, Alexandria, and Rome, not in Judea.
I'm gonna have to look that up myself. Honestly. That's interesting because let's say the closest thing that we have is Josephus around 93 AD. That's about 100 years. So I could see why that would be a little bit uncomfortable. But
I don't. What do you mean?
These people-
What do you mean? The closest thing we have is Josephus. What do you mean?
Josephus is a historian
Yeah.
that mentioned the Christian group at that time.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So we're talking about 100.
The testimony in Flavianum is an interpolation from Eusebius. We can tell this using a myriad of different ways, including stolometry.
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
It means that
beyond.
someone else wrote that and put it into the text of Josephus. The author is Eusebius. We're able to identify the author. He writes at the beginning of the
And
4th
who's
century.
and that's interesting.
Yeah.
And who is that? Sorry.
Who's Eusebius?
Yeah.
Eusebius is a church propagandist and church historian.
About 400 years after, right?
No, he's in the 4th
Am I right or
century,
wrong?
so
Am I
that'd be
confused?
like
It's in the 4th
200
century,
years
right?
after
Yeah.
Josephus dies, but like 300 years after the supposed death of Jesus. Depends on. Yeah.
All right, because the
he
thing
writes
is
in,
that
like,
I do,
320-ish.
yeah, more or less the 4th century. Because I do see what you're saying, but it's just unfortunately what you say doesn't make 100% sense to me personally. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Where am I losing you?
Because so about 25 years after this event, we have a group
What
of
event?
people, the crucifixion, right?
The crucifixion and
Crucifixion.
supposed
We
event,
see
sure.
it. Yeah, supposed event. I'm not
Yeah.
arguing that. Right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So we're saying that all these people. I'm not saying that the divinity, all that is true.
Yeah, yeah.
There's definitely some mythology that happened there. That I don't
Sure.
disagree.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
you
That's
100%.
not a problem. Keep going.
But we're gonna say that in 100-year period, literally somebody made up a story, and all of this happened.
Well, what do you
We're gonna
mean
say
all
that
this
the
happened?
letters were the letters from Paul were fictional. The Gospels were fictional. All
Yeah.
these small communities that existed throughout, let's say, five different communities. I don't want to say the wrong word. Let's say like
Ephesus, Corinth, like
what
that
is
kind of
this?
shit.
like Jerusalem, Antioch,
like the different
Alexandria,
communities. Yeah.
Constantinople. Yeah. So it's I can see
what
the
about them?
argument
What about
against the miracles. All these communities were basically built on lies.
No.
None of these events happened. It just
Well,
miraculously.
it just depends on what you mean by lies. These communities already existed.
How can you explain that though?
They existed
How can
already.
you explain that?
What?
So Christianity existed before the tale of Jesus.
Yes.
That's what we're saying.
Yes. 100%. That's exactly what I'm saying.
And how do you know that?
Because we get
do you know?
Christianity mentioned before the first gospel is published. About depending on
The word Christian is a Greek word. And the word would have been the
yep,
ship.
which is why we know it's not from Judea.
So how did this? So explain that to me.
You just explained it yourself. You said it's a Greek word.
Well, I know that the term Christian was around sometime after after Jesus passed. It started
Well, depending
at
on
Rome,
depending on
because Peter supposedly,
depending on what kind of connection you want to make, there's a group called Christians that which like Tacitus talks about, and that word.
What year was Tacitus?
He is 116 in Annals.
116. Okay, yeah, that's a good time. So Christian
Tacitus,
was the word Christian was already
Tacitus
happening.
mentions Christians, and Christians we see in a Roman or a Latin inscription in Rome, dating somewhere between 36 BCE and 37 CE. There's also Crestus that's mentioned on a cup by the magician Crestus in a cup in Alexandria in the 1st century BCE. So
that's where my confusion is. So we get this movement of Christianity starting, right? So we're saying that this movement of Christian. So we're saying. So there was no person.
Correct.
In which
they worship Serapis or some other god. It's just a deity that they know as Crestus or Christus. It's not that hard. Yeah, in the 130s.
No. This is
in the 130s. Emperor Hadrian writes a letter about how the Christians in Alexandria worship Serapis, and a bishop of Christ is none other than a bishop of Serapis.
And this is Serapis in my screen.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I can't see.
Oh, yeah. Let me.
Hold on, he'll give me big screen.
No, I see it. I see.
Yeah, but yeah.
Praise Ave Serapis.
Yeah, but he's just
And what year was this?
Around the time of Ptolemy the First Soter.
Yeah, that would be really early. That inscription there.
Because the oldest depiction of because the reason why I ask is because the oldest depictions of this person, this idea of Jesus didn't have a beard, and this is from the Greek, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Serapis.
It was a Greek picture where he didn't have that.
Serapis is like the god that Jesus comes from. He's like his son.
Yeah, he's a Greco-Egyptian deity during the time of Ptolemy the First.
So if Serapis was the original deity,
why didn't God the Father, according to Marcion, like a previously unknown God the Father.
Well, if Serapis was the name of the deity, why doesn't that name appear in the Gospels?
Because the Gospels are like post Jewish influence, where they're taking it away from that. None of the Gospels really. Well, there's hangovers in the Gospels from initial ideas from Christianity, or the earlier versions of Christianity, where you have God the Father and crap like that, and weird shit like that, like the Transfiguration, a whole bunch of weird things that don't really make a lot of sense.
Trust me, I'm not defending Christianity whatsoever.
Not a problem.
I'm trying to understand, literally, because you say that there were many of these gods that were there before Christianity, but
yes.
The thing is, no, I don't disagree with that. Absolutely not. What I'm saying is that, so why would the Christians, right, adopt the Jewish deity of Yahweh?
It's just
if they have their own thing going on.
It's just blending in. As some Christians didn't.
I mean, what Christians didn't do that? So what Christians did not?
The ones that Hadrian's talking about, the ones that worship Serapis in the 130s.
See, that's the problem, because already at that time, let's say the early 100 years, we already see Christianity as a movement. So just because
Christianity is around, and then the story of Jesus shows up in the early to mid 2nd century. Some Christians accept it, some don't. Some take it, and even the ones that accept it, they take it in a different direction. Some believe that he's just a man. Some believe that he's not a man at all. Some believe that he's both a man and a god. It's all over the place.
Yeah, I could totally see that. 100%.
What do you mean totally see it? It's not totally see it. That's what it is. We have Docetism that believes that he's not a man, and then we have.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm saying the wrong thing. I'm agreeing with you. Okay. I'm saying that those stances are plausible. What I still don't see is how.
Anyway.
It's already solidified, is what host is saying.
Yeah, it's not plausible. It's not plausible that people had different ideas of Jesus. It's a fact. It's a well-known fact that people had different ideas of Jesus. That's what the fucking Council of Nicaea was for.
They were arguing his divinity.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the game? So I'm gonna let you go because I know you're probably tired.
No. Keep it going. Keep it going. Yeah, I mean, you're asking questions,
sure?
And just keep asking questions, man.
Okay. So what was the name of that guy again? Marcel?
Marcion.
His name was?
Marcion.
Or Marcion.
Marcion is how it was pronounced back then. It means little Mark. So it's no surprise that the earliest of the 4 canonical Gospels is the Gospel according to Mark.
The first Gnostic.
So I'm gonna. No worries. I'm definitely gonna look at him because I've never heard of this person. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely interested in to see what he has to say.
Yep.
The thing is that to me personally, there seems to be more. I'm leaning towards the side that there was a person that this movement started on, rather than it was just mass psychosis.
Why are you getting the idea that it's psychosis? Stop doing that. I'm not saying.
Because you said that it didn't happen, that it's not real.
Yeah, that's not psychosis. That's just a...
Okay, so did
Stan Lee have psychosis when he created Peter Parker or Bruce Banner? That's dumb as shit. Like, no, it's just fiction. That's just how it works. People write mythology, people write fiction. You don't have to have psychosis. What you're thinking is you're connecting it to some other like atheist argument where it's like, hey, these people, they suffered psychosis and talked about Jesus's resurrection, seeing him, resurrect and seeing him do these things and ascend into heaven, and then maybe even the atheist argument of like Paul falling off of his horse and hitting his head so he had a concussion and stuff. Like I'm not making those arguments at all. It's not psychosis. It's just writing a fiction. It's writing a mythology.
Mythology of the time.
No, I don't. I could definitely see why you would say mythology of the time. Is that, to the best of my knowledge, which of course we're all going to agree that it is that the Gospels are basically, they're to believe in themselves. They're a belief system that were written a couple years after this happened. What I'm trying to understand, to the best of my ability, right, is that how did we get this character? So we're saying that somebody just decided to write a story about Jesus, and then this story just caught on, and people were just believing, and they were willing to go to war, and governments were changed. Well, we had the Crusades, right?
Are you serious?
Well, the Crusades were willing to fight for their nonsense belief, right? Am I wrong?
He completely missed the plot.
he jumped like a good 1,000 fucking years. What are you talking about?
No, I'm trying. Don't trust me. I'm not trying to fight you guys. I'm trying to understand. Okay, so let's say
that was a horrible argument, a horrible point to even bring up, because by the time that the Crusades happen, it's believed to be a fact that Jesus existed. Christianity was the main religion of the entire Western world at that point.
And it was basically tea, cake, or death at that point.
Yeah. But that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. This is not even close to the...
No, that's fair. I'll concede to that. Not a problem. I'll concede to that. I just don't... I'm trying to wrap my head around, right?
What is it that you're failing to wrap your head around? I mean, there was Christianity. It was a mystery cult that existed. It was a Greco-Egyptian mystery cult that existed within the Roman Empire. And eventually it blends in with Judaism post-Bar Kokhba revolt, which is the last Jewish-Roman war. There in the 130s. We get a gospel. Some people accept it, some don't. And the ones that do accept it take it in different directions. And one particular sect known as Proto-Catholicism is the one that we have today. The canon that we have is based off of that particular sect's beliefs of what gospels should be included and what text should be included and what shouldn't. Not only that, but
So what was this? Okay. So what was the name of the cult? So what was the name of the cult that started Christianity?
Christianity. That's the mystery cult.
Because they were following a Christ-like figure, but they didn't know who it was until they started realizing the similarities between this cult and Serapis within the Serapion, which actually had a couple of temples throughout Egypt. Oh, yeah. The main one in Alexandria.
Mm-hmm. So I'll look at it. The name of it was
the Serapis is the god. Yeah.
Serapion.
Baby.
Saba. That was funny. You saw the comment, right?
No, I saw that like Josephus or whatever that somebody created. That was, yeah, there it is.
And Sir Game-a-Lot. Sir Game-a-Lot, there is a book. It is Ancient Egyptian Mythology by Richard H. Wilkinson. It'll have a whole bunch of hieroglyphs on the cover along with a painting, and on page 174, I believe, is where you can read up on Serapis.
So when they say Serapis, is that the same
Serapis.
thing, or is that Serapis? So when I look at the history of Serapis, we're seeing something about the 3rd century.
Serapis, right? And no, it is well before
BC. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Is that the same thing? No, that's the picture. I see the picture that you showed. The Greco-Egyptian god, right? Serapis.
Serapis would go pretty far back, yeah.
The farthest that I see here is... The furthest that I see here is 300 in the 3rd century.
You mean BC?
325 BC, darling.
Are you seeing BCE or CE? Like, are you seeing AD? Like, what do you mean third century? What?
I see some 3rd century writings. No, you're right. It's before Christ. So third century before Christ. You get this.
During the reign of Ptolemy Soter I. This was during the rise of the Ptolemaic Empire.
Yep. Ptolemy brings down a statue of Serapis from a city called Sinope, which is in northern Asia Minor, down all the way to Alexandria in order to bridge the gap between Greeks and Egyptians, religious-wise. Marcion, the guy who publishes the first gospel, he's from Sinope. The first time that Christianity, at least that we can tell with the actual I in there, like talking about a Christ, is mentioned is by Pliny the Younger, who was the governor of the Roman province of Bithynia and Pontus. The largest city of that province, Sinope. Like, that's why I'm saying that Christianity is not something from Judea. It's from like Asia Minor, Alexandria. That's where it's from. It's not from Judea. It makes its way into Judea, but it's not from Judea. And it mixes
like the main temple.
Yeah, it mixes in with people from that area and their beliefs, and that's how we get like the Gospels. But that's
like, I'll put it to you like this: the Serapion in Alexandria was in its full glory during the time of Cleopatra VII.
Oh, that's all cool. Yeah, I can see that. I just my question is, which I'm definitely gonna study this myself. I appreciate the time that you guys are taking. So I don't want to sound negative or anything. Thank you for all this, guys. So I'm definitely gonna look into this to see how this becomes the Gospels. Because I understand that there's different religions around this time. But then this becomes the Gospels. How does this become? I just don't see how this becomes.
Because they're taking stories from other belief systems prior, mixing it into a hodgepodge of a bastardized want-to-be Judaic tradition, which is why you get the bare minimum, which is why instead of them using didaskalos in the Greek for teacher, they use rabbi. They were trying to intermingle the belief systems to make it like, oh, well, your deity, Dionysus or Bacchus, turned water into wine. Guess what? Jesus did the same thing. Guess what? This deity does all these things, and it's just one. You don't have to worship different ones anymore. It was basically an evolution.
Yeah, but if that is so, why not continue the name of the Serapis cult? Why switch the name to Yeshua?
It's just a matter of
Why would we?
syncretism. So basically, you have someone who writes a story that involves a lot of different elements. Serapis is known as like the unknown god, or it's kind of a weird way, but he's known as the unknown god. And then Marcion says that Jesus is a descendant of like a son of the unknown god. Like, so it's just kind of
Marcion says that.
Yeah. God the Father.
But why do you take Marcion?
And
So
we
Marcion
also
was a
have to
Roman
take-
emperor? Sorry, I just want to make sure. So Marcion?
No.
I'm looking at the wrong person. So what's his name? Marcion? How can I find the specific person? The correct person.
Marcion. I don't know.
Oh, Owen. Thank you. So Marcion. Marcion of Sinope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So I will definitely look at this because I'm actually very, very interested in this. I appreciate your time, guys. I'm not going to bother you so you can rest, my friend, because we could definitely talk another time for sure. Not a problem. I want you to be comfortable.
Next time that you come up,
So I
if you want, you can check out the cheat sheet, which is my book that goes over this topic. That way you know what I'm going to say before I say it, and you can already know what my arguments are.
What's the name of your book, sir?
Christ Before Jesus. It is,
One second.
the link is in
And
my
what's your name?
bio.
All right. No problem. I'll
Yeah,
check out
so
the link.
like after you hop off, just go to my TikTok profile, and you can check it out, or just search on Amazon Christ Before Jesus. The ebook is just $3. It's not like we're not trying to break the bank here. There is a print version, there is an audiobook version, but the ebook is just $3.
Yeah. So just to clarify, so there was the Serapis cult, right? And then we're saying that Mr. Marcion from Sinope is saying that that's where they got their...
Yeah, he's pulling from a whole bunch of different things. And Jesus is a demigod, a son of the unknown God. So,
Okay. Yeah. I'll look at it. No problem. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, man. Let me follow this lady also, okay? Thank you for your time, man. Thank you.